Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven, and tonight, whenever the heck you're watching this, we are getting into what the heck is wrong with store picks and why. But before we do that, please do me that favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps us out a ton, and we seriously appreciate the support. But let's get into today's video. So, today we are finally getting into a topic that I have been waiting a little while to do. It's a huge topic that a lot of people love to talk about. So I'm going to put out what in my opinion, are some pluses and minuses in regards to store picks. What's wrong with them? What's good with them? And my overall opinion at the end. So if I say anything in this that you disagree with or you want to add to, leave a comment down below. Let's start a discussion and let's see what other people think about it. But let's get into it. Kicking it right off with my biggest issue with store picks. Biggest problem with store picks is that they are picked by someone else. Someone not in the industry usually. Someone who, runs their own liquor stores, so they're going to pick a bourbon or whatever. And sometimes, again, this is going to be a plus and minuses thing. This whole thing is more so a plus and minus than an actual minus type thing, because that could be good and bad. It's so dependent on flavor profile. 10 to 1, if I ever do a pick of whiskey or if we do a flight, I might like a different bottle of whiskey than whoever you are watching this, because we're different people. We have different flavor profiles, and there's nothing wrong with that. That being said, as far as picks go, you have to make sure you find someone who has a similar flavor profile than you. You can't just blindly be like, hey, this is a store pick. It's for sure going to be good, because it's picked by someone else. And they might not have the same flavor profile you. They might not like the same things. You might hate chocolatey stuff and they're like, bro, I love it when it cranks so far right to chocolate. That's the one for me. And you'll be like, that is disgusting. That's okay. That's the world of picking your favorite whiskey, and that's essentially what they do. They get like a flight of whiskey and they pick whichever one is their favorite one out of that batch. And if they're willing to purchase that barrel, they usually do. I've had some good store picks and I've had some bad store picks. The biggest thing I will say in regards to this note is find someone who is good. Find someone you vibe with their flavor profile and they pick good stuff because it's good, not just because they have to fill their store shelves with store picks. And then coming up after that, it's another inherent flaw or problem with store picks, which is they're single barrels. They're one and dones. They're not batch products. They're not consistent at all. Every single store pick is going to be different. Plus or minus, the variance, because some distilleries are a little bit more consistent barrel to barrel than others. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. You never know what's going to happen to the whiskey once it hits the barrel. That being said, all single barrels are going to taste different. You can't repeat it. So like once it's done, it's done. So if you find a hitter and that single barrel pick runs out, you can't buy that specific barrel again. They might do another one that might be just as good, but it might be a little bit different because, again, single barrels. That one might be a little bit more like red fruit than the last one, and you really liked how oaky the last one was. It's not repeatable, and they're single barrels. So, again, pluses and minuses with that one, because on the other hand, with it being, a single barrel and it not being repeatable, it's a limited experience. And you also get a new experience with that every single time. There's so many companies out there who put out store picks. My biggest or my favorite one so far has been Sagamore Spirits. I think they're doing a killer job with their picks. Them and Doc Swenson's, man. Great. But as far as Sagamore Spirits goes, I have like 4 or 5 of their picks right now, and they're all different experiences from each other, and it's really fun to kind of tear apart and enjoy and see kind of other things, where if they only put out that one product, like, Sagamore Spirits Cask Strength, that's one experience. Now I have their Cask Strength, and I have a boatload of different picks. Yeah, I can't buy them again, but I get a new experience. And next time I go out there, especially if it's a place I love and I know they do good picks, then 10 to 1, I'm going to get a new experience that I like there anyways. And then one that's not even remotely negative at all, but is something I would like to add as far as kind of to the first point, the whole, they're picked by a store. Sometimes they're not always the best. Sometimes they are. More often than not, they are, especially if you find a good one. But, sometimes they're not always the best. So something that a lot of the liquor stores around me do, unfortunately, you can't do this with like clubs or members or whatever, but usually they'll open up one of their store picks to have people try when they come in. Try before you buy. Like, not a lot of places in the whiskey world can you try before you buy. Like, even Costco doesn't put out whiskey samples when you go to Costco. Or I hope. I've never seen it, but that'd be really dope if they do. They do with like literally everything else, but like, not some bourbon, unfortunately. But they will let you try new things. They will let you try literally all of their store picks if you're interested in buying any of them. Like they never really care that much. And honestly, I've gotten some stuff that I didn't plan on buying because I tried it and I was like, damn, that is incredible. That is some really freaking good whiskey. So again, there are some pluses and minuses with store picks. Overall, I think it is the best. They have the best value in the game as well, where limited allocations, hard to find stuff is getting, hard to find. It's impossible to find. If you do find it, you're probably spending an arm and a leg. Single barrel store picks are usually the best bang for your buck. They have the best quality whiskey for the price point. There's not a lot of big brands outside of like maybe like Wild Turkey 101. I mean, Sagamore Spirits, I think their stuff's quality. And I mean, there's a lot in that whole like $60 to $70 range. That being said, most store picks are around the 50 to we'll say like 80 range, unless if they're like a more expensive bottling type single barrel. But most are around that range, and most are well worth the money, where some of the stuff nowadays in that range, I don't consider to be worth that money because it's just everything's gone blown up with the world market. So I like single barrel store picks because the value, the fact that they're a new experience every single time, and I also do kind of partially like the fact that it's limited. So I have something not everyone else has, which I think is, maybe part of the craze with bourbon hunting is people want the stuff that no one else has, the stuff that everyone thinks is great. I think those are great. I like having different experiences. I like having people over and being like, hey, I know last time you came over, I had you try this, but I got this bottling. I know it looks exactly the same, but it's a totally different one because it's a new freaking store pick. I like that. I think that's part of the fun. You get to share more whiskey. You get to experience more things, show people more stuff. And I like store picks. That is a wrap for today's video, though. Please do me that favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you guys thought about this video. Also, let me know if you have anything to take away or add. Do you disagree with anything I brought up? I know I didn't really bring up too much negative stuff because I honestly just think store picks are freaking incredible and kill it. Also, check out the Facebook, Instagram, and the Patreon. The links for all that stuff are down there below. That is a wrap for today's video, folks. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you later.